Saturday Night is the telling of the 90 minutes before the first airing of Saturday Night Live back in 1975. It stars Dylan O'Brien, Ella Hunt, J.K. Simmons, Willem Dafoe. This movie has a big cast, and it was directed by Jason Reitman. And yeah, Saturday Night, wonderful film. I loved it. It is fantastic. It is relentlessly paced. It is fucking funny as shit. It's very intense. It's very captivating. It's compelling. And I love the style of the movie. This movie definitely feels like a movie that came out in the 70s. It's very grainy. It's got that 70s look. Production-wise, cinematography-wise, Saturday Night is perfect. Love it for that. And the performances in this movie, holy shit. Great job from everyone. Wow. It's Dylan O'Brien is the standout here. He is wonderful as Dan Aykroyd. Yeah, he plays Dan Aykroyd in this movie, and you never see Dylan O'Brien. All you see is Dan Aykroyd. That's how good of a job he does. And then Corey Michael Smith, he plays Chevy Chase. And just like with fucking Dylan O'Brien, when you see Corey Michael Smith, you don't see him. You see Chevy Chase. He looks just like Chevy Chase, and goddamn, what a great job. That's another thing. The makeup and costume design and hairstyling, fucking fantastic in this movie. Almost everything works about Saturday Night. The only issue I have with Saturday Night is that I wish this movie would have been longer. Because this movie is dealing with the first 90 minutes before the first airing of Saturday Night Live, I wish this movie was longer. I wish there was a little more stuff before that first 90 minutes. Like, just kind of delving deeper into more of like Lorne Michaels' personal life a little bit just before he starts getting prepared for Saturday Night Live and its creation. Because really, this movie's about Lorne Michaels, so would have been nice to know a little more about him in a more cinematic light, but it's more just a nitpick. I love Saturday Night. It is awesome. This was a wonderful film. Gives you no time to breathe. It is brisk. It is intense. It is funny, captivating, compelling, all of those things. I am going to give Saturday Night an A. Hellboy, the Crooked Man is directed by Brian Taylor and stars Jack Kesy as Hellboy. And it tells the story of Hellboy and a rookie cop being sent to this community where there's a local coven of witches, and they're being led by the local demon, the Crooked Man. Okay, Hellboy, the Crooked Man. How does this... Okay, so before I get into my thoughts on this one, let's talk about the previous 3 Hellboy movies. Guillermo del Toro's 2 movies, both are great. 2 is even better than the first one, though. And then we get the 2019 film. Oh boy, you're going to get a controversial opinion from me. I also enjoy the 2019 film. Is it a good movie? No. But I do find it very entertaining. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. Sorry, that's just what I think. Okay. Hellboy the Crooked Man. What do I think of this one? I do have a few positives for this film. I love the atmosphere. It is mostly a horror film, so don't expect a lot of action from it, but I like the atmosphere. I thought the atmosphere was pretty cool. And the production design, for the most part, I dug as well. I like the eeriness of the movie. I like the movie has a very basic horror movie score, but it kind of works. Also, Jack Kesy, surprisingly not bad as Hellboy. I know. I thought that... Okay, here's the thing. When I saw the trailer for this movie, I was very skeptical. he did not impress. He did not sell me as Hellboy in the trailer, but in the actual movie, a lot better than I expected. He's still not Ron Perlman. He's definitely no Ron Perlman, and he's definitely no David Harbour as well. But he got the job done. He did okay. So there's that. And for the most part, the performances are fine. And I will say the first half is pretty entertaining, kind of. Like, I'm not saying it's like fast-paced, high adrenaline shit like what Brian Taylor is known for. Because his previous movies with Neville Dean were, you know, Crank 1 and 2, Gamer, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. He's known for like very hyperactive, high-energy action movies. And with this movie, you're not getting that really at all here. This movie's not energetic. It's actually pretty slow-paced. There's not a lot of action in this movie. You get a little bit, but really not much. And this is where it gets to my negatives here. While the first half was moderately entertaining, the second half is an absolute slog to get through. This movie goes from moderately entertaining to boring as fuck within the snap of a finger. That's what I'm, like, say what you will about the 2019 film, as terrible as it is, at least it's entertaining. It goes by quick, it's fast-paced, it's enjoyable, depending on your mood. Hellboy the Crooked Man is half of a decent fan film, half of a boring as fuck snooze fest. So, keep that in mind when you want to watch this movie. Don't expect anything like the first three movies at all. You don't really get much of the... This movie does have attempts at humor, but it never lands. The characters, and as good as the performances are for the most part in this movie, you don't really get a lot of chemistry between the actors. Anything that worked in the first three movies when it came to, like, characters, gone. It's just that, yes, the performances are good, but it's just that the characters are not interesting this time. And, you know, this movie also has a lower budget, so when it comes to CGI in this movie, they did not use their money wisely, because a lot of the CGI in this movie is also really bad. It's almost like Asylum levels. That's how bad. There are some good practical effects here, but when it comes to the CGI, wow. And this movie had a budget of, what, $20 million? I've seen movies with smaller budgets than this that had good CGI. Here's an example. Lee Whannell's Upgrade. There we go. That movie had a $3 million budget, and that movie CGI far exceeds what this movie brought to the table. So in the end, can I recommend Hellboy the Crooked Man? Not really. It's not that great of a film. In my opinion, it is definitely the worst one. It's not terrible. It's not one of the worst of the year. But can I really fully recommend it? Absolutely not. I am going to give Hellboy the Crooked Man a C-. Smile 2 is the sequel to the very good 2022 horror film. It's once again directed by Parker Finn, and this time it stars Naomi Scott, Parker Finn, Drew Barrymore, and many others. And this time it follows a woman named Sky Riley, who is a major pop singer. And in this movie, she begins experiencing horrible, terrifying, and inexplicable events as she's about to prepare for a tour. And once she is experiencing these overwhelming feelings about her fame, she is forced to face her past before things start going into a downward spiral. Fuck. Okay, I suck at explaining plots, but sometimes, but here we go. Smile 2. It's even better than the first one. This movie was actually fantastic. God damn. This is easily one of the best horror films of the year. And one of the best horror sequels possibly ever made. I'm serious. This movie was fantastic. When it comes to the horror, the direction, the fucking gore, the violence, Smile 2 far surpasses the first one. When it comes to the horror, it's scarier, way more terrifying, and way more confident. That's what I mean with the direction, too. The directing is far more confident. It feels like the director was like, yes, this is the film I want to make, and this is the direction I want to go. And it paid off. He was very confident in this movie, and it works out to his favor 100%. The performances in this movie from everybody are also fantastic. Naomi Scott was great in this movie. Kyle Gallner was great in this movie. Drew Barrymore was really good in this movie. It's been a while since I've seen her in something, but wow, yeah, she was awesome here. When it comes to the atmosphere, this movie delivers. There's a lot of great jump scares in this movie. I'm happy to see that when horror movies are using jump scares, they're using them properly now. Not like a decade ago with movies like Ouija and shit like that where there was a lot of false ones. I think we're in a new great era of horror. The past few years have been really good with horror. And this is no exception. October's been a great month for horror. A lot better than last year. That's for damn sure. If you're just looking for a fantastic horror movie, a great night out with your friends, or a good date night, you want to see a good horror movie, Smile 2 is definitely your movie. If you like lots of blood, lots of gore, this movie's very violent too. Way more violent than the first one, and you get to see some shit in this movie, man. It's not Terrifier 3 or anything, but you definitely get your fair share of pretty gruesome, gnarly imagery. So, yeah, there's that. Do I have any issues with Smile 2? I will say the halfway point, it gets a little slow, so this movie is just a tad too long, but that's it. Smile 2, wonderful sequel. Easily one of the best horror films of the year. It gets a very strong recommendation from me. I am going to give Smile 2 an A.